Hey there YouTube, Petey Two Finger here. Today I have a product demo. It is the Mark 10 electronic cigarette, the Mark 10 E-Cig, brought to you by Altria. Now the Mark 10, here is it's a little plastic test tube storage device that it comes with, very cool. It is a cig-alike, meaning it's an electronic cigarette that actually looks like a cigarette. So we classify these as e-cigarettes. It's a two-piece design. This is the battery section. The filter section holds the cartomizer, which holds the e-liquid, and the atomizer. The atomizer is what converts the e-liquid into the steam or vapor for your enjoyment. The product does have an LED for operation, and that also is reflected in when one is charging it. I have a charger here, but you can see it has a USB style connection port. So you screw the battery onto the charging unit, and then ironically enough they don't supply you with a charger. So for demonstration purposes, I have a USB extension. So when we are in the charging process, you can see there's a red LED glowing on the charger, and don't have any LED on the battery right now. I thought that the battery was supposed to glow red, but when the battery reaches its charging capacity, that red LED turns green. Getting back to that comment that I mentioned, typically I don't charge anything on my computer USB ports. I choose to use an AC adapter that has the USB port on it, simply because your computer power supply is not designed to be charging stuff. Can you get away with it? Well, it depends on, the power supply in your computer. Especially if you had a laptop. Let's save our computer power supplies for powering our computer, what they were designed to do. In a pinch, yeah, you can get away with it. Would I want to hook up, a bunch of extension cables and splitters and charge a bunch of e-cigs off my computer? No, I don't. I avoid doing it at all, opting out to use something like this. But back to the Mark 10, I guess I will let the cat out of the bag. I'm not even going to give this a thumbs down. I'm going to give the Mark 10 the finger, because I tried using a Mark 10. I quit smoking. It's coming up on 5 months since my last cigarette, and the first week, this is what I had. And I set a quit date. I suppose I should say, I was a heavy smoker. I was using a crank machine and rolling my own cigarettes, so I was smoking a real lot. And like last summer, my daughter had purchased us concert tickets for Paul McCartney. I knew he played for a long time. It was going to be at least a 3-hour show. No smoking in the hall. So I purchased a blue brand. It was just the first thing that caught my eye at the gas station. Again, these type of devices, the cig-alikes, are typically manufactured by Big Tobacco, and they're available all over the place. You can get these at gas stations, convenience stores, pretty much any place that one would purchase cigarettes or a lottery ticket. You're going to be able to find this type of device. Now, which brings me to a point. If Big Tobacco is producing these and they don't really work, could it be that I put my tinfoil hat on and consider that Big Tobacco doesn't want me vaping? They want me to continue purchasing cigarettes? That's what I think is the case with the Mark 10. This is, especially considering the amount of coupons they threw at me for free Mark 10, or, it was like $1 I had to pay for a full kit. And I tried it, and it didn't work for me. Now, thank goodness that I didn't give up. I went and did some additional research and found out that really nobody in the vaping community uses this type of stuff. At the minimum, they'll use something like this, which is it's the same thing. It's just bigger, got a bigger battery, a little bit more efficient tank, holds a little bit more liquid. Again, with this, I found myself charging this every 50 or 60 pulls on it. It needed to be charged. So I had 2 of these. One was constantly charging, and then I would use the other one and it would run out, and I would have to, and like I was saying at that Paul McCartney show, I used that blue and it worked for, I was in there for 3.5 hours. I wasn't really like climbing the walls with a nicotine fit, but I wasn't myself. And when I got in the car and I lit one up, boy, I'll tell you, Strawberry Fields Forever. I was the walrus. It was like huge nicotine head rush, and you know, and that's just kind of speaking volumes. Now, I guess that there's something called the Enjoy King, which is a Cig-alike device similar to this. That may be the most efficient Cig-alike design on the market, meaning it produces the most vapor. Now, the downsides that I found with this, number one was it did not seem to supply me any nicotine. Number two was the charging. I was constantly having to charge. It was always running out. I guess really number two should have been the fact that there was no vapor. You know, it's like this little tiny puff. Number three, I'm getting my numbers, you know, it was charging it all the time. What vapor does come out of it doesn't taste good. It tastes kind of like cardboardish. The flavor, what I thought it tastes like is like stale Cocoa Puff, like a little bit, an essence of like if you licked the box that the Cocoa Puff cereal came in. Like that literally is the flavor of this. Any upside to this? I mean, it lights up the LED. I mean, if you were gonna like use this as a prop, I suppose it might. Really, there is no there is no good side to the Marlboro Mach 10. The first day I had set this quit date. I've quit before, cold turkey, but this time the amount of cigarettes that I was smoking was a lot more. Typically when I've quit before, I will taper down. And I've always kind of gone back. And how I can confidently sit here today and say that I've quit, that I'm done, is because I enjoy vaping so much. I still get the nicotine, and the vaping is just infinitely more pleasurable than smoking ever was. You hear about, you know, come to where the flavor is, and these marketing campaigns having to do with how great cigarette smoking is. I never found that to be true. I didn't enjoy it so much for the flavor as that I was addicted to the nicotine. Where with vaping, the flavors that are out there are just really, really enjoyable, really good. And there's no, you're not burning, nothing is burning. It's steam or vapor, so there's no carbonized, you're not putting burnt plant material in your body, there's no ashes, there's no stink. You know, it's infinitely much more rewarding, and then on top of it there's all that other stuff. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me, and I mean, I really, really wanted this to work. The Mach 10, I had coupons for it, I was getting it really cheap. I went and watched a video where a guy showed you how to remove the end piece with a paper clip. You pull this cap off, and then so you can refill it. I went and bought a bottle of the E-liquid, and actually was pouring, refilling it and getting it really like overfilling it, and then it would really produce more vapor. I had 24 milligram nicotine, and that helped. That improved the performance. There was a little bit more vapor coming out of the device. The downside to that was it's not designed for that overfilling, and it was backwash. The e-liquid would come back and drip into my mouth. So getting that e-liquid on my tongue, we don't want to do that. It's toxic. It's potent. And I wasn't getting like really sick, but I was getting heartburn. I was getting a little tummy ill from that. So yeah, the Mark 10 was just an absolute nightmare for me. I found on that quit date, 12 hours into it, that I couldn't take it anymore. I had like full-on withdrawal symptoms. I felt like I had a fever. I was like kind of out of body, feeling like I was floating, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was in like literal like agony. Like my eyes felt like they were gonna pop out of my skull, and I broke down and smoked. Which that was the case every day from the 6th to the 12th. I was smoking. I would make it 12 hours or so, and I couldn't take it anymore until I got my first real battery and tank, which was a CE4, similar to this. This is not the exact one, but a device where you add the e-liquid to it, and I found that the amount of vapor that that produced was quite, a bit more than what this produced, which that was how I was able to quit smoking cigarettes. That first day that I had a real tank, and I wasn't forced to use this. I never used this again. I used this and this only, and that was the day that I quit, and I have not smoked a cigarette. More importantly, I haven't craved. There's been like literally 2 times where I thought about smoking a cigarette, and that was where I saw a video of myself, an old YouTube video where I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, and for a second it just kind of flashed off in my head that, ooh, something clicked with that. Now I remember in the past when I had smoked, I had always quit cold turkey, and always went back to it. Like 3 months later, I would find myself buying a pack of cigarettes. It was constantly on the back of my mind, and then popping forward, having these really strong urges. Anytime seeing anyone on TV or in a movie or smelling it, just actually like seeing red because, I needed my nicotine. And that's why I have found to be vaping to be the answer for me, is because I'm still able to utilize the nicotine, but without all the nasty, horrible, stinky, harmful side effects. So if you're interested in quitting smoking and utilizing an e-cig or vaping, you're on the right path. If you're a light smoker, you may find that a cig-alike may work for you. I would encourage anybody, if you're going to be trying the cig-alike type e-cigarette, avoid the Marlboro Mark 10, even if you're getting it on a coupon or a free offer. It's simply, you're just going to be wasting your time. They just don't function very well at all. Between the charging it all the time, minimal vapor production, what vapor you do get tastes terrible, and then is there even any nicotine in there? God knows what they're putting in this. It's probably something to make you crave. It wouldn't surprise me. But like I said, if you're considering, vaping, you're on the right path. You're going to be able to do it. Just, do a little bit of research. Get yourself a real device. At least something like this. I mean, I've been going for, almost 5 months now, and, like this is kind of one of my new things that I've got, a box with a nice tank. And, yeah, it's a big device, but I certainly don't mind when I'm sitting here on the sofa watching. And if you're not smoking, that's the main thing. I haven't craved. I don't want to smoke. I don't care to. That's the beauty of this. It's not that I quit. It's that I could care less. And why do I care less? Well, that's because this and this it's just infinitely more enjoyable. It's just better. Now this, on the other hand, the Mark 10, it's a joke. Shame on you, Philip J. Morris. You're not fooling anyone. So yeah, stay away from those Mark 10s. And if you need anything, if you need anything at all, any questions, anything like that, please feel free to get a hold of me. Leave a question below or PM me. That's what this is all about. I want to be helpful and provide information. So if I can be of any assistance, please feel free, whatever you need. And best of luck. You're on the right path. You're doing the right thing if you're gonna quit. So.